Hi everyone. I have no idea if you can actually hear me right now. There is a lot of background noise, but I just wanted to do a video because this was supposed to be the spring that I got my shit together and built my fish room. And it started. As you can see, we have 12 feet of racking, but you'll notice it's empty. So a lot of things happened this spring and it got put on hold. So I want to show you the project I've been working on instead, because I do think it's very important, and I urge you, if you can do anything to help as far as providing personal protective equipment for our frontline workers, please do so. The only way we're going to get through this is together. So I just figured I would share what I'm doing in lieu of some fishy content to hopefully inspire others to do the same. And if you have any questions about what I am doing or how you can get involved locally, I'm in the Philadelphia area, so there's plenty of stuff going on with personal protective equipment, with 3D printing, with sewing face masks. It's all coming together right now. There's so many people helping and trying to get the equipment into the hands of the hospitals and the frontline workers. So let me show you what I'm up to. In the beginning, I'm sure, like most people, I didn't quite grasp how bad this was going to be. So it took me a little while to kind of grasp that. And for the first few weeks of March, I was really struggling with, hey, is this something where I need to help? Is it going to be useful for me to actually put myself out there? And I had already been researching 3D printers for some time, but once I saw people starting to sew face masks, once I started seeing people start to print face shields on their 3D printers, I knew that this was going to be kind of my greatest opportunity to really dive in and try and help. I impulsively purchased a used 3D from some random guy in Philly. As you can see from the glamour shots, I was pretty proud of this machine. I had it working. I had a few shields coming out of that. I did end up having some issues with that printer in particular, some extrusion issues that I haven't quite fully figured out at this point, but I couldn't really stand to be not producing something, so I sort of doubled down and went on a trip to Micro Center and grabbed just 3 new ones. And I think I picked them up on a Friday, and I think I started either Saturday or Sunday and just put all 3 together and started printing again. First one printed just perfect. Third one, again, perfect. Did something right. Second one had a little bit of an issue, but with a little tweaking, I was having all 3 of them working pretty well. I was printing face shields, some ear savers, and also some bias tape jigs for the local people who are sewing fabric masks. This was a tool to make them faster, to make them more effective, because a lot of the time, you're limited in how much you can actually help, but if you can help others do things faster, sometimes that's a little better. So I think I made about 150 of those things, and I actually got a little frustrated with how slow things were going, because I had decided early on that I was going to only print the very best model that I could find, because I thought quality above quantity was going to be ideal, and it is to a point, but I was getting very frustrated when I was only getting 1 shield every 7 or 8 hours. So I actually upgraded all 3 of the units to direct drive extruders, and I put some new all metal hot ends on them, which actually definitely helped with the reliability, as well as 0.8 nozzles. And what the nozzle does, it actually, the bigger it is, the more material goes through it. So with those upgrades and with the larger nozzle, I was able to half my print time. I actually have a few more upgrades planned as far as some new springs for the beds to level them easier, and also some PEI sheets for the actual bed surface. As you can see in the photo there, the video, there's starting to be lines on the beds, and that's just because I am literally printing almost 24/7. I think there's 4 hours at night where I'm not printing, so it's taking a toll on these pieces. So I'm replacing things as they wear out. I'm trying to minimize downtime as much as I can while maintaining things as much as I can. So let's show you a little bit of the production. So here I am just pulling pieces off of the beds. There's not much to that. Just getting them off as quickly as possible. Minimize the downtime. I can, do the whole setup within 15 minutes about, as long as I don't stare at them too long. And this is actually the assembly process. So you'll notice that I am not wearing a mask. I'm gonna, state this plainly. I had an N95 mask, and that's great for my protection, but it's not great for everybody else's protection. It has a valve for exhaling to make it easier to breathe, and I didn't want the false security of having something that was actually just letting my air onto the material. So what I did is I obviously washed my hands a whole bunch. I actually showered right before this, and I basically made sure that all surfaces were as clean as possible. And I'm not sure if you can see it because this is sped up probably 3,000%. But I'm spraying these pieces a whole bunch with isopropyl alcohol, and actually I spray them right before I bag them as well. So they're actually bagged kind of slightly wet just for protection. So I want to state that plainly right at the beginning here because safety is important. Obviously, whoever is receiving these shields is going to clean them as best as possible, but I do, take care as much as I am possible to. All I've been doing so far is cleaning up the plastic shields. I'm new at this. I'm actually not very good at 3D printing, so there's a lot of little bits and flashing that actually have to be cleaned so that there's a smooth surface, so nothing's going to catch on the user, and nothing that's going to get in the way. And you'll notice that I'm putting the pieces in a bucket, putting all the PETG plastic pieces in there. I will be recycling those at some point. I'm not quite sure how. I can melt them down. I don't know if I can extrude them into filament again, but I'm going to do some sort of weird project with them eventually. The bucket's almost half full at this point. So there I am, just basically 3-hole punching the front of these shields. This is some PVC sheeting. And a whole lot of Velcro too, cutting into 10-inch strips, and then punching holes, and also using some scissors to kind of cut the in-between the holes. So there's a pretty nice uniform oval. Each of the shields gets 2 of these straps. I've chosen Velcro out of necessity. All the people who are sewing face masks at this point have basically used up all the elastic in the area. So Velcro is what I have available. So that's what I'm using. And hopefully it's also comfortable for the people who are using it. If not, obviously they can swap it out for something that's going to be better for them. Funnily enough, the Velcro is actually the most expensive part of the face shield. It's probably comes out to about $1.50 or $2 worth of Velcro for every shield. And the rest of it is fairly cheap. I think it's about 50 cents for the PVC sheet, and then maybe $1 for the plastic itself. So probably about $3 to make each of these shields. Obviously, I'm making a lot of them, and obviously there was a huge startup cost because these printers are about $200. So it's been a lot, but I'm getting a lot out of it as far as making sure people are protected. I mean, this was very important to me to do. So obviously, if you want to help, if you do receive some of my shields, just keep in mind that they're only $3. It's not a big deal. Now I'm starting to bag them. Each of these shields, obviously, I assembled the strap. I put in the PVC sheet. I'm also putting in paperwork because it's actually very important that people receive all the documents. There's an FDA emergency use authorization for face shields, and I am making sure that I'm compliant with that because hospitals can only accept certain shields. So I want to make sure I do whatever I can to make sure that they're able to accept these. So this is just the pile of the finished shields. So yeah, thank you for watching. And I hope when everything settles down, you get to see what I want to put up on these racks and how I set that up. But there's a lot to do right now and a lot that's important to do right now. And I hope everybody knows, stay inside, stay isolated if you can. Certainly quarantine yourself if you're feeling sick, but please stay safe. We all need you on the other side. And so this is just a little extra information for people who would like to acquire some of these things. Here's some information about how you can go ahead and do that. There's a few resources as far as how to get face shields, how to get sewn face masks. There's also a bunch of different open source type PPE that you can reach out through here in order to request. So don't be shy. A lot of people out there are willing to help right now, and they're just waiting on you to ask. So here you go. Here's your list. If you want to personally thank me, I'm not going to stop you. I set out to do this project, so I kind of signed up for what I'm spending. But if you do want to give back, I will certainly accept money for production costs, for shipping. If you want to throw money at me, go for it. My Venmo is listed here. It's at Callie L. Parker on Venmo. Be careful, there's a lot of Callie Parkers. I'm sure they're not going to complain if you send them money, but make sure you spell it correctly if you want to support me. You can request, if you leave me a little message, you can request what you'd like the money to go to, and I will do my best to follow through with that. I will be producing shields for pretty much the foreseeable future. Until we're through this, I'm going to keep going for as long as I can, actually source these materials. So thank you for watching, and please stay safe.